Okay. Good morning, everyone. Is my voice audible? Yes. Great. Okay. So I hope you all are done with NAT configuration. Yes, NAT, and we saw about ACL. Yeah. So ACL and NAT. I hope you are done with ACL and NAT. So far, to summarize, you have we've started from IP, so it is actually day 8 today. So hardly you have 3 days of class today and Saturday, Sunday. So far you have seen about IP address, subnetting, yes, and then we saw about routing, we saw about switching and configuration done in routing and switching like ACL, and here we saw about VLAN, and then you saw about NAT, uh, and you saw about DHCP, DNS, and all that. Yes. So now we have seen all this concept. The final concept, or maybe a concept which to conclude all these networking titles with, is the firewall. Okay, so we are going to see about firewall today, and the concepts which we implemented here. Say take ACL, which we implemented to configure a router. You take a switch, which we where we configured VLAN, and we configured NAT, DHCP, and DNS. So all these configurations, basically, we are going to implement it in firewall also. So firewall is going to have all these configurations. Yes, we are going to have ACL in firewall, we are going to have VLAN in firewall, we are going to have NAT in firewall, we are going to have DHCP in firewall, and we are going to have DNS in firewall as well. So we are going to have all these concepts in firewall. Okay, so in case if you haven't done any assignment with routing or switching, then or NAT or DHCP DNS, obviously firewall is going to be confusing for you. So make sure you complete all these assignments first so that firewall becomes easy. Okay, and firewall, it looks little bigger, but it is very simple. The configuration, step by step, you have to follow certain things, and if you follow it properly, it is going to give you pakka output. Okay, so basically, to start with firewall, is firewall a hardware or a software? What do you think it is? Is a firewall hardware or a software? Great. So firewall is both hardware and software. Yes, it is both hardware and software. We have hardware. So IBM has hardware firewalls. So it is both hardware and software. And in firewall you have two types of firewall types are stateful firewall and stateless firewall. You have two types of firewalls. Okay, so stateful and stateless. What is stateful firewall and stateless firewall? Now stateful firewall will record each and every step that is being taken. Now say for example, uh, say let's open a Google page. Yes, let's open a Google page and let's type something like Cisco firewall, and I'll hit enter. Now I get the first URL. Let me click the first URL and I'm landing in this page. So starting from the beginning, from where I opened this browser, I typed google.com, and then in Google search box, I typed Cisco firewall and I clicked the browser URL link, and then I came into this page. So all these will be recorded. Okay, so this is stateful firewall. Stateless firewall is, now I am there in the Cisco page, so it will record only this. That is, it will take into consideration only the particular current page which I'm having. So that is the difference between stateful and stateless. So stateful is going to record, or it is going to note everything from the beginning. Stateless will only concentrate on what is currently happening. Yes, so these are the two types of firewall. And there are different types of firewall. Yes, now here, since we are seeing about the concepts from Cisco CCNA, we are going to see about Cisco ASA firewall. Okay, so we are going to see about Cisco ASA firewall. Apart from Cisco ASA firewall, you have many other firewall like Checkpoint, you have FortiGate, you have Palo Alto, you have WatchGuard, so you have McAfee firewall. So there are different types of firewall, maybe the manufacturers, but today we are going to concentrate on Cisco ASA firewall. Okay, and Cisco ASA means adaptive security appliance. Yes, adaptive security appliance. And in ASA firewall, there are many models. Yes, in ASA firewall, you take it is like Cisco ASA 5510. You have 5520. You have 5525. You have many types of firewall models. So we are going to concentrate on 5505 series. So in our packet tracer, you will find this firewall series. Okay, so ASA 5505 is the series which you are going to configure for today. That is the firewall which will be present in your packet tracer. Okay, and about another thing in firewall is there are two rules in firewall. So one is inbound rules and another one is outbound rules. So basically, what a firewall is going to do is it is going to monitor your traffic. So whatever traffic goes out of your computer and whatever comes in, this particular traffic will be monitored by firewall. So using firewall, you can block the traffic. Yes, in case if you don't want the traffic to go out of your network, you can block it. In case if you don't want any traffic to come inside your network, then that you can block it using firewall. Okay. Is my voice breaking or is it audible for everyone? Audible? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so firewall is basically used to, control your traffic or to restrict your traffic, like what network has to go out and what network has to come in. And that you call it inbound rules and outbound rules. So inbound rules is actually for incoming traffic and outbound rule is actually for outgoing traffic. Okay, incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. Yes, so these are the two rules. Now, this is something a basic introduction about firewall. So I hope you're clear what firewall is and what types of firewall you have and which series we are going to see in firewall. Now, let's get into the practical content of firewall. So before going to the practical content of firewall, we have to see another thing. Okay, so there are like 6 key points in a Cisco ASA firewall. I mean, there are like 9 key points. And if you are clear with all these 9 key points, then the configuration becomes very easy for you. So what we will do is we'll first see these 9 points, what they are and what they're trying to explain. Okay, so now if you take a router, yes, when you take a router, how do you assign an IP to a router? Where do you go and assign an IP to a router? If there is a router, where do you assign an IP? Exactly, you're going to assign an IP in the router itself. Yes, so in router's interface, you're going to assign IP. You know how much ever interface this router is going to have, you're going to assign the IP in a router, which means you are assigning the IP directly to a router. You are assigning the IP directly. But when you take a firewall, you cannot assign IP directly to a firewall. So in case if you wanted to assign an IP to a firewall, you have to assign this IP to VLAN first. And through this VLAN, you have to connect with the firewall interface. Okay, so in firewall, you cannot assign IP directly. In case if you wanted to assign an IP, obviously you have to assign IP. And how we are going to do is we are going to give the IPs to VLAN, and then using that VLAN, we are going to assign it to the interfaces of a firewall. Okay, so the first point is you cannot assign IP directly to a firewall. Okay, And in firewall, you have something called inside network and outside network. Okay, so you have to understand this concept very clearly. In firewall is going to have two VLANs. One is VLAN 1 and another one is VLAN 2. Okay, so firewall is going to have two VLANs. One is VLAN 1 and VLAN 2. VLAN 1, we are going to consider it as inside network. Okay, VLAN 1 we are going to consider as inside network, and VLAN 2 we are going to consider as outside network. So obviously you should know about inside network and outside network. You know, if where you are, if you are with a computer sitting inside a network, then that is your inside network. Yes, so that is with inside network and outside network. And for this VLAN 1, if it is inside network, there is a security level which has been assigned. And even for this VLAN, there is a security level which has been assigned. For inside network, the security level is 100. And for outside network, the security level is 0. Okay. And you this VLAN will be connected to an interface. That interface is going to be Ethernet interface. So far we have seen about fast Ethernet only, fast Ethernet and gigabit, but this time you're going to take Ethernet interface. And this Ethernet interface, for VLAN 1 it is going to be 0/1, and for VLAN 2 it is going to be 0/0. This is something which mandatorily you have to remember. Okay, so I'll explain you once again. For this Cisco ASA firewall, we are going to have two VLANs. One is VLAN 1 and another one is VLAN 2. VLAN 1 is going to be the inside network, for which the security level is 100 and its interface is Ethernet 0/1. VLAN 2 is going to be the outside network, and the security level for outside network is 0, and the Ethernet interface is 0/0. You can remember something like this. So VLAN 1, it looks something like I, this inside I, and security level again 100 I, and this Ethernet 0/1, again it looks like I. So it is all 1111. VLAN 2, you take this outside O, security level again O, and Ethernet interface is again 0/0. Maybe you can remember like that also. Okay, now I'll tell you what the security level is. Okay, so now say for example, let's consider stairs. Okay, let's consider stairs, and let's say we have security level as 100 for inside. Okay, so this is security level 0, that is your outside. So this is our first step. Yes, and this is the 100th step. Okay, so we start from here. Now uh, now let's say you are pouring water from top to bottom. Okay, so you're pouring water from top to bottom. When you pour that way, it is going to go very easily. Yes, now when you do it upside down, when you start pouring water from bottom, it is going to be a bit difficult. Yes, it is going to be a bit difficult for the water to flow up. Yes, so the same way, from outside to inside, from okay, I'll tell you in other way. From inside to outside, from inside to outside, the flow is going to be very easy. Okay, from our computer, in case we are trying to send any traffic outside, it is going to be easy. But from outside, if any traffic is coming inside our network, then it is going to be a little tough, which means there are going to be many inspections. Okay, so from our computer, the network the traffic that goes out, it is going to go easily. But some other traffic which is trying to come inside our computer, it is going to be very difficult because it is going to pass many inspections. That is why for inside network, we have the security level as 100, and for outside network, we have security level as 0. Okay, you got this point? Yes, I hope you all are clear with this. Yes, awesome. And this is with VLAN 1. So VLAN 1 is inside security level 100, Ethernet 0/1 and all that. Okay. So these are all these actual 4 steps. So this is inside network, your LAN, and outside network out of your LAN. VLAN 1 will be inside, VLAN 2 will be outside. Security level is 100 and 0, and Ethernet for VLAN 1 and 2. So this is with this 9 step. So you have to just, you know, be clear with all these 9 steps. So once this is done, we'll get into the configuration. Okay. So security level, I'll explain you once again. I'm getting too many messages for security level. So security level for inside and outside. Take this steps example. So consider these steps. So maybe, this is the first step. This is how you climb. So we'll keep this as 0, and this is the 100th step at the top. Okay. Now consider I'm pouring a water from top. From top, when I pour water in this step, it is going to flow easily. But from bottom, if I start pouring water, it is going to be a little tough to reach the top. Yes. So that is with security level. Security level from inside to go outside from your computer. In case if you're sending a traffic outside, it is going to be easy. It will go because it is going outside and it doesn't need many inspection. But when any traffic comes inside your computer, it is going to pass many inspection. Okay, so it is actually tough, and that is why to reach your inside network, the security level which you have kept is 100, and to go outside, the security level is 0, because any traffic that goes out of your computer, it is not going to affect you. So that is why the security level is 0 for outside network. Okay, so this is with Cisco ASA firewall key points, the 9 major key points. And for today's to do, the assignment which you're going to take is this diagram. Okay, so in this diagram, you have 2 computers. Okay, and you have switch, and after switch, normally we place router. Yes, but here we have placed firewall, and then after firewall, we have a router. Okay, and this router we'll consider it as ISP. Okay, and then we have a server. Okay, it is a DNS server. All right, so this is the configuration which you are going to do in Packet Tracer. Normally, firewall can be, placed above the switch or, below the switch also. That is not an issue. But in this particular diagram, we are using it this way. Okay, and for firewall, the configuration steps. Remember this, when you are doing this assignment, when you are performing this assignment, you have to go step by step. Okay, even in case if you miss one single step, then the entire output will be affected. You will not get output. So when you do firewall assignment, make sure you do it very slowly, concentrate on each and every command and do it. Okay, and this notes I will share you, because I have each and every step written in detail, all the major 7 steps which you have to perform for configuring firewall. I have each and every step. So we'll do this in Packet Tracer now. We'll configure this in Packet Tracer, but still look at the notes and do the configurations properly. Okay, so now we are going to take this diagram. So obviously you have to take switch, firewall, router, and DNS server, and configuration. This time we are going to do all the configuration inside this firewall. Okay, and so we'll keep this aside. So what we will do is, for this ISP and for this DNS server, we will assign the IP. First thing, we'll assign IPs for ISPs and your DNS server. And see here in this diagram we have written. So this is our inside network, because we are going to be here. Okay, and this is the outside network. If this is inside network, then it is going to be VLAN 1. If this is outside network, then it is going to be VLAN 2. And for inside network, the Ethernet interface that you use is 0/1. And for outside network, the Ethernet that you use is 0/0, which I explained it here. Okay, so this concept which we have written here, it is practically implemented here. Okay, so this is Ethernet 0/0, and this is 0/1. This is inside network and outside network. This is going to be VLAN 1, and this is going to be VLAN 2. VLAN 1 has an IP address, 172.16.1.1. VLAN 2 has an IP address 210.2.2.2. Okay, so you have to go as per this diagram. Okay, you have to go as per this diagram, use all the IPs as per what is used in this diagram. As of today, to complete this assignment, go with the IPs and go with the configurations which we are going to see in class. And then in case if you wanted to try, you can go with your own IPs, you can assign your own IPs and see if it is working. All right, so now let's get into the configuration process. So we'll open our packet tracer. Okay, so in packet tracer, what we will do is we first need a switch. So we'll take a switch and I'll choose a switch and I'll place it here. Okay, and then you need a firewall. See here at the bottom, you have something called security. When you click on security, you find this Cisco ASA series. So it is 5505. So this is the firewall which we are going to use. So what I'll do is I'll click and I'll drop it here. And then we need a router. So we'll choose a router. Let me see which router I've chosen. It is 1841. Okay, so 1841 because that has two fast Ethernet. And then we'll take a server. So this is going to be our DNS server. Okay, and we are going to have two computers. So I'll take one computer and I'll take another computer. Yes, so these are required. These are required. Okay, so these are required components. Now what we will do is we will connect all these. So obviously to connect switch with computers, you know, it is straight through. So I'll choose switch 0/2. We'll choose 0/2 and connect it with computer fast Ethernet 0, and we'll take switch 0/3 and we'll connect it with fast Ethernet in computer. Okay, and after this you have to connect switch with firewall. To connect switch with firewall, you're going to use copper crossover cable. Okay, so you will choose copper crossover cable. You'll click on fast Ethernet 0/1 and you're going to connect it to the firewall. So here you have to be very careful for which you are choosing, Ethernet 0/0 or 0/1. As per our diagram, it is going to be 0/1. So you have to choose Ethernet 0/1 because that is the inside network. Okay, listen to the configuration very carefully. In case if you are doing any mistake, instead of 0/1, if you connect it with 0/0, again you have to do everything from the beginning. Okay, so make sure you listen carefully and then you do the assignment. So now we have connected it to Ethernet interface 0/1. Now what we are going to do is we are going to connect this firewall with the router. I mean the ISP we call it. Okay, so that you have to connect it in Ethernet 0/0 interface. So we'll take straight through cable. I'll click on this firewall. I'll go to Ethernet 0/0 and I'll connect it to this router 0/0. And from this router, we are going to connect the server as well. So again, we'll choose copper crossover cable. I'll click on here and I'll choose 0/1 and I'll go to server and I'll click fast Ethernet. So now we have connected all these devices using cables. Okay, the connection is done. Now the next thing which we are going to do is we will assign IPs for this router and server first. Okay, we'll assign IP for ISP and server because they are like default. No? So we have to assign IP. So I'll assign IP for router and server. So this router has two interfaces. One is fast Ethernet 0/0 and another one is fast Ethernet 0/1. And this is again fast Ethernet. Okay, so 0/0 and 0/1. As per this diagram, for 0/0 you have an IP called 210.2.2.1, and for this you have 20.20.20.1. Okay, so we'll assign both these IPs to these interfaces, fast Ethernet interfaces. Okay, so to assign IP, I have to click on this router. We'll go to router, we'll go to command configuration mode, and I'll choose 0/0. Okay, for 0/0, 0/0, the IP is going to be 210.2.2.1 and the subnet mask, and make the port on 210.2.2.1. And for 0/1, it is going to be 20.20.20.1. Okay, it is 1, and then I will give the subnet mask and I'll make the port on. Okay, so now we have assigned IP for the interfaces of a router, this interface and this interface. Next, what we will do is we will assign IP for server. So our DNS server IP is going to be 20.20.20.2. So I'll open server, I'll go to desktop, I'll go to IP configuration, and I'll type 20.20.20.2, and I'll give the subnet mask. I'll give the subnet mask, and I also have to give the default gateway. So obviously for this particular router, the default, this particular server, the default gateway is going to be this interface. So this interface IP is 20.20.20.1. So I'll type here 20.20.20.1. Okay, so my IP is 20.20.20.2 and my default gateway is 20.20.20.1. Okay, and close it. Done. So now we have assigned IPs for router interfaces and the DNS server. Now all other configuration we are going to do in this firewall. Okay, rest of the configurations will be done in firewall. So we'll move with step 1. So now we are starting with the actual configuration process. Okay, so step 1, what we are going to do in firewall is, okay, 1 minute. Okay, so step 1 is you're going to remove the default IP address in DHCP scope range. This is your first step. Now, what we are going to do is this particular firewall will have a default, DNS IP and a DHCP scope range. So what you are going to do is you're going to remove those two. Yes, so to remove those two, we have this commands. Yes, I'll show you in Packet Tracer. So now in Packet Tracer, you have to open your firewall. Okay, so once you open your firewall, let me enlarge it. You'll go to configuration mode. Okay, so now in configuration mode, firewall is also very similar to your router configuration. So normally it is in login mode. Click on en and it is going to ask for a password. Firewall has a default password, so just click on enter. You don't have to type any password. Click on enter. It will go to the privilege mode. Okay, and after that you're going to go to configuration terminal mode. So now here in this configuration terminal mode is where you're going to do all the process. So first what we will do is as per the first step, we will remove the default IP address and the DHCP address. Okay, we'll remove these two. So for that, what you have to type is, I have all these steps written, so you don't have to worry. Okay, so it is, you have to choose interface VLAN 1. So you choose interface VLAN 1, and in interface VLAN 1 to remove IP address. In case if you want to assign IP address, you will give IP address and the IP address. In case if you want to remove, you're going to give no IP address. So when you type no IP address, it is going to remove the IP address which is already there. Okay, and then you give exit. Then the next line, you're going to remove the DHCPD address. So I'll type no DHCPD address. So we'll remove the no DHCPD address as well. No DH. Okay, I have to give the IP range. So I'll type no DHCPD address. No DHCPD address. Let's type 192.168.1.5. to 192.168.1.35. By default, this will be the IP range for most of the firewalls. I mean, this ASA firewall, this will be the IP range and inside. So in case if there is an IP range already there in firewall, it is going to remove. So let me hit on enter. It is saying that, it is invalid, which means for this firewall, there is no default IP range. So we'll skip this step. Okay. So the first step is going to be removing the default IP and DHCP scope range. So IP will be removed. When you try removing DHCPD address, in case if it shows you error, it means that there is no DHCPD address already. So you can skip this process. You can skip this step and you can directly jump to step 2. All right. So now step 2, what we are going to do is we are going to create 2 VLANs. Okay. I mean, VLAN will be already there. We are going to configure these 2 VLAN. So obviously VLAN 1 is going to be your inside network with security level 100. VLAN 2 is going to be your outside network with security level 0. And as I told you, for VLAN, we have IP address. For VLAN 1, you have an IP called 172.16.1.1. And for VLAN 2, you have an IP called 210.2.2.2. So we are going to assign those IPs to both the VLANs. So this is the next step which we are going to do. So now in packet tracer, we'll again go to command line. Okay. And in command line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose interface VLAN 1. 1 minute. I'll try zooming this and go to options, preferences, and I have font CLI. So I'll choose 16. I'll give apply. I'll try increasing this also. Okay, and tooltips also I'll increase to 13. Apply. I'll close it. Hope this should help. No. Okay. I don't know why it is not applying for command line. Okay. So it is interface VLAN 1. Okay, we'll choose interface VLAN 1. And for this interface VLAN 1, for VLAN, we have, where is this diagram? Okay, it is here. So for VLAN 1, we are going to assign IP 172.16.1.1. So to assign IP, I'll type IP address 172.16.1.1 and the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Hit enter. Okay, so now for VLAN 1, we have assigned the IP. Now after that, you have to click type no shutdown so that the port becomes live. And then you have to name VLAN 1. VLAN 1 is going to be our inside network. So the name command will be name as inside. So it is going to be our inside network and we are going to give the security level. So security level for inside network is going to be 100 and click on exit. Now see what steps I have done. I've chosen interface VLAN 1. I've assigned the IP and subnet mask and I've given no shutdown to make the port live. And then I've made the VLAN 1 name as inside network and we've given it as the security level 100. Okay, the same way, close the CLI and then open again so that it works. Okay, let me do that. I'll close it. I'll open it again. No, it's still the same. Okay, so this is with VLAN 1. Similarly, we are going to choose VLAN 2. So I'll type interface VLAN 2. So I think I missed a step here. After this, you have to type exit and come back for VLAN 2. So you'll type exit also. Okay, now we are going to choose VLAN 2. And for VLAN 2, we are going to assign IP address. So IP address for VLAN 2, what is IP? It is 210.2.2.2. So we type 210.2.2.2 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0 and hit on enter. Click no shutdown, enter, and then we are going to name it as outside network and then we are going to give security level -level as 0 and exit. So we're done with step 2. So step 2, we've configured VLAN 1 and VLAN 2. We've given IPs for both the VLANs We have given name for both the VLANs and we have given security level for both the VLANs. Okay, so this is with step 2. So step 1, to remove default IP and DHCP scope range. Step 3 is to configure both your VLANs. All right, now step 3. Step 3 is, now you have two VLANs with you. One is VLAN 1 and another one is VLAN 2. Now both these VLANs you have to assign to the interfaces. So we have Ethernet 0/1 interface here and we have Ethernet 0/0 interface here. So now you have to assign both these VLANs to both these interfaces. So that is with step 3. So step 3, you will link corresponding VLAN 1 and VLAN 2 with the respective interface. Now, how do you do that? So I'll again open command line. So in command line, I'm going to choose interface. It is going to be Ethernet interface, Ethernet 0/1 and 0/1. We are going to assign it for VLAN 1. So we'll choose the interface and then we'll type switch port access, and it is VLAN 1, right? So it is switch port access VLAN 1. So for in Ethernet 0/1 interface, we are going to assign VLAN as VLAN 1. Okay, even if I do this, it is still smaller, no? Okay, VLAN 1, and then I'll give exit. And then again, I'll choose interface Ethernet 0/0. I hit on enter, and then it is switch port access VLAN 2 and exit. So now step 3 is done. Okay, so step 3, we have connected both the VLANs with both the interfaces. Now we'll go to step 4. So step 1, we actually removed the DHCP and DNS IP. Now in step 4, we are going to assign DHCP and DNS IP. Okay, so we removed it in step 1 and in step 4, we are going to assign it. All right, it is, so for that, again we have to go to firewall. So in firewall, what we will do is, first we will give the DHCPD address. Okay, so to assign DHCPD address, the command is DHCPD. I mean, for everyone. Are you all facing issues with viewing this command line? Is it very small for you people, or are you able to see the commands which I'm typing? You're able to comfortable, it's fine. Okay, okay, great then. Thank you. So we'll assign DHCPD address. So I'll type DHCPD and then I'll type address, and now we are going to give a scope range. So the scope range which we will give is, we'll take this diagram. So in this diagram, the default gateway, maybe for these computers, it is going to be 172.16.1.1. So the DHCPD address should also be from this series. So I'll give it as DHCPD address 172.16.1.5 to 172.16.1.10. So I am going to give 5 IP address, which means we can connect 5 computers. Okay, and this can be any number. Instead of 10, you wanted to give 20, you wanted to give 30. Well, you're good to go. You can give. Okay, and I'll type inside. So now I have given a DHCPD scope range in the firewall, that is from 1.5 to 1.10. Okay, and now what we are going to do is we are going to configure DNS in firewall. So obviously we have a DNS here. We have a DNS server here, and the IP of this DNS server is 20.20.20.2. So we are going to configure this DNS IP in this firewall. All right, so to do that, again the command is DHCPD space DNS, and you have to type the IP of the DNS, that is 20.20.20.2, and then you have to type interface inside and click enter. Now step 4 is done. So step 4, to our firewall we have configured DHCPD and DNS. Okay, this is with step 4. Now after step 4, step 5 is, even if you are using a firewall, even in firewall you have to configure routing. Okay, so why do we configure routing? Because firewall is something which allows the traffic from inside to go out and from outside to come in. So there is a process going on there also. So we have to configure routing in firewall as well. So to configure routing, the command which you are going to give is this. So this particular statement simply means that you are going to give 0.0.0.0. This is source IP and this is the destination IP. So any source IP and any destination IP through this IP can go outside and come in. Listen carefully. You have this 210.2.2.2. So just consider that this is our public IP. Okay. So now what I'm doing is from my network through firewall, I am allowing any computer to communicate outside and any traffic to come inside. So we are permitting the incoming and outgoing traffic. For that, you have to configure the routing in firewall. So to do that, you have to again open your firewall configuration, and in that you have to just give one line, that is route, and you have to give outside and you type 0.0.0.0, that is our source IP, again 0.0.0.0, this is our destination IP, and through which IP is it going to go out and come in? It is going to go out and come in through 210.2.2.2. So it is 210.2.2.2. Okay. So it is not 210.2.2.2. I'm sorry. It is going to be your ISP, right? So obviously it has to go through your ISP. So it is 210.2.2.1. All right. So we are going to take this router's IP, not the firewall IP, because we are doing the configuration in firewall. We are doing this in firewall. So this is firewall's interface. You're going to take, the route as 210.2.2.1 from this ISP. So we have to give this IP. All right. So I'll click on enter. Now the routing is also done. So your step 5 is also done. Now step 6. Step 6, what we are going to do is we are going to create an object network. Okay, and we are going to enable NAT. So here comes the NAT concept for firewall. Okay, now why are we going to this step 6? Why are we actually enabling NAT? Is because we have a public IP address set. Yes, and we have to make sure that the inside network communicates with the outside network through the public IP address. Okay, for that you have to implement NAT. That is why we go for NAT. Yesterday you saw about NAT. NAT is all about converting your private IP to public IP and vice versa, right? So the same process we are going to implement it in firewall also. All right. So for that, what we are going to do is in firewall, you're going to first create an object network. So for create an object network, I'll type object space network, and you can give any name for this network. I'll have the name as LAN, LAN. Okay, so object network LAN. I'm just creating an object network and I'm naming it LAN. You can have any name you want. You type ABC, you type XYZ. It is up to you. Okay, and after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give subnet 172.16.1.0, that is the entire network, 172.16.1.0, and it is 255.255.255.0. So we are going to give this entire network 172.16.1.0 entire network. We are creating an object, network object, and you're giving 172.16.1.0 entire network for that, and click on enter. Okay, so once this is done, what you have to do is you have to implement NAT. To implement NAT, the command is NAT, and you're doing this for both inside and outside. So I'll mention inside and outside, and then I'm going to give dynamic interface. Dynamic interface. So this is the command to implement NAT. So you're done with step 6 also. So step 6, you created an object network called LAN, and you gave the entire network, and you have this 255.255.255.0 because subnetting is done for this, and that steps you don't have to worry because you will not be doing it in firewall. And then you're going to implement NAT. To implement NAT, the command is going to be NAT. You're going to do it for both inside and outside. So you're giving inside and outside and dynamic interface. Yes. And step 7, you have to create ACL. Okay, you have to, guys, I haven't shared the attendance link yet. After this session, I will be sharing it. Okay. All right. So access control list. Next thing, what you have to do is you have to configure ACL for this firewall. Okay. So why are we configuring ACL for this firewall? So that this ACL will allow your TCP packets and your ICMP packets outside to the outside network. Okay. So in case if you have any TCP packets that you wanted to permit, you have any ICMP packets you wanted to permit. So all that permit and deny process also has to be done in firewall. And for that, we are going to implement ACL, access control list. So ACL is what we saw yesterday. So the same process we are going to do today, but with a little different command. Okay. So yesterday, when I explained you ACL, I told you that there are two types of ACL. One is standard and another one is extended. And for standard ACL, there is a number range. Can you tell me the number range for standard ACL? Excellent. So standard ACL number range is 0 to 99. And can you tell me the number range for extended ACL? Super. So it is 100 to 199. Now we have two ranges which will denote which type of ACL we are implementing. But here for firewall, we are going to use another type of ACL called extended named ACL. Okay, so let me delete it. So in ACL, we saw about standard and we saw about extended. We have another type of ACL that is called extended named ACL. So it is quite similar, not very different. It is just that for standard and extended, you have a number range. Yes, you have a number range, but for extended ACL, you're not going to use the number range. Instead, you're going to use alphabets. That is, you're going to give any names. Instead of numbers, you're going to give name as values. Okay, so here say standard ACL you give 10, for extended ACL you give 110, for extended named ACL I'll give any name. Say my name will be inside hyphen 2 hyphen outside. You can give any name you want. You can have ABC, you can have CBD, you can have any name. So we're just going to give name. And why are we configuring ACL? So we are configuring ACL so that okay, your packets will go out and come in. Your packets will go out and come in only when you configure ACL. Okay, so through ACL we are going to permit and deny. Here in firewall we are going to permit both TCP and ICMP. Okay, we are going to permit both TCP and ICMP. And the command for this is very simple. When you're permitting, you don't have to give source IP, destination IP, port number, protocol, all that. No, you can just give any, right? As I told you. So the same way, what we have done is, see here, we have created an access list, and instead of number, I have given a name called inside to internet. Okay, and since it is an extended named ACL, I've given it as extended, and then I am permitting TCP any. Okay, so this means from any source IP to any destination IP, we are permitting the TCP packets. All right, the same way we are actually permitting ICMP also. So ICMP any, and then you are giving this access group command. So we'll quickly type all these commands in our firewall. So I'll go to configuration mode, conf t configuration mode, and in configuration mode I'm going to type access hyphen list inside underscore to underscore internet is my ACL name, and I'll type it as extended, and I'm going to permit and TCP any. So now I've permitted TCP. Same way I'm going to do it for ICMP also. ICMP any, hit enter. So now I permitted ICMP. Then the next step is access hyphen group inside underscore to underscore internet in interface outside. So from inside to outside, we are permitting both these TCP and ICMP packets. All right. So seventh step is also done. Now the entire configuration that you have to do in a firewall is done. Yes, as per this diagram, all the configuration which has to be done in a firewall is complete with this step. Okay, so next step is, see here, this is, I told you this is an ISP, yeah, but still there is a router. And when you have a router, obviously you have to configure routing. Yes, so you have two interfaces for router. One is 0/0 and another one is 0/1. But then again, if you want this ISP router to establish communication, then you have to configure routing for this router also. Correct. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to configure routing in router, and the routing configuration which we are going to use here is dynamic routing. In dynamic routing, you all know that there are three protocols. In that we have seen about EIGRP. But here for this router, we are going to configure OSPF. Okay. So I will explain you OSPF in very short. Yes. Where is my pen? Okay, it is here. So OSPF, it is a protocol from dynamic routing. You all know dynamic routing. And OSPF full form is open shortest path first. Shortest path first. Okay, so now in firewall, why are we going with OSPF is obviously the routing process, we go for routing process so that there is a communication that gets established between routers. When you try pinging from this network to this network, it has to give a reply. From here to here, it has to give a reply. So to establish the communication between routers, we are going with routing. And here we are going to use dynamic routing and OSPF concept. I have also explained you OSPF considers bandwidth, and it considers the maximum bandwidth as the best path. Yes, it considers maximum bandwidth as the best path. You know all this. I'll tell you the configuration for OSPF and all. Okay. In EIGRP, we saw about autonomous number. If you remember, in EIGRP, we saw about autonomous number. So same way for OSPF, you're going to have an area number. Okay. You're going to have a process ID, and you're going to have a wildcard mask. Wildcard mask. Okay. So area number is any number between 0 to 65,535. Process ID is also any number between 65,535. Area number is going to be same for all routers. All routers. Process ID is going to be different for all routers, which means in case if area number is 100 for this router, for this also it is 100, and for this also it is 100. If process ID is 10 for this router it has to be a different number. So I'll give 20 and this is 30. Okay. So area number is something like your STD code, and process ID is something like your landline. Your STD code always remains same for one particular region, but the landline is going to be different. Okay. So area number is also like autonomous number. Okay. For grouping your routers, it is also similar to your autonomous number. Okay, so area number and process ID. And what is this wildcard mask? Wildcard mask is nothing but inverse of your subnet mask. Of your subnet mask. So in case if 255.255.255.0 is your subnet mask for class C, then wildcard mask will be 0.0.0.255. 0.0.0.255. How did you get this answer? You have to take your global subnet mask 255.255.255.255. This you call it your global subnet mask, and then you have to take your default subnet mask. So your default subnet mask, in case if it is class C, it is 255.255.255.0. You have to minus these two. When you minus these two, it is 0.0.0.255, which is your wildcard mask. Okay, so it is wildcard mask. This is how you get this. Why am I explaining all this now? Because we are going to configure OSPF for that routing, for that router, and for that you are going to consider area number, process ID, and wildcard mask, all these three. Okay. And in dynamic routing, are we going to use known network or unknown network? Very good. So in dynamic routing, we are going to use known network. Okay. So when you take this diagram, this router, the known networks for this diagram is going to be two networks. One is 210.2.2.0 and another one is 20.20.20.0. These are the two known networks for this router. So for that, we are going to configure OSPF. So to configure OSPF, the commands are in router, in router, in configuration mode. Okay, in configuration mode, what you will do is you'll type router OSPF and you'll give the process ID. So process ID, it is going to be, say we'll consider process ID for this as 1. Okay, so 1 is your process ID. 1 is your process ID. And then what you will do is you will give the known networks. So network, known network. So it is 210.2.2.0. That is the known network. And the wildcard mask is going to be 0.0.0.255. And then you're going to give an area number, which again will be 0. Okay. And then again, I'll give another network. It is 20.20.20.0. Again, 0.0.0.255. And the area is 0. Okay, so we are going to give OSPF, this is process ID, and since area number has to be same, it is same here, and process ID as 1 here. Okay, so this we are going to implement it in our firewall. So I mean our router. So I'll open this router, I'll go to command line. See, this is actually big. Here font is big. So command line will log in, and I'll go to configure terminal mode, and here I'm going to assign a router OSPF as 1, and then I'm going to give 2 of my known networks. So 2 of my known networks are going to be 210.2.2.0 and it is 0.0.0.255 and the area is going to be 0 and the next network is going to be 20.20.20.0 and it is 0.0.0.255 and the area is 0. Enter. Exit. Okay. So now we have configured OSPF for this router also, and that's it. So you're done with all the configuration steps. Now what you have to do is, normally now the configuration is done to firewall, we have done to router, we have done to this server, we've done all this, but for computers we haven't done anything. So far I didn't touch computers. So normally when you assign IP, you will go to computer, you'll give desktop, you go to IP configuration, and you'll give static IP. But here this time you have to choose DHCP. When you choose DHCP, automatically an IP address will be assigned. See here, my IP is 172.16.1.5. Yes, so this is my default IP address range from the DHCP scope range. So scope range we gave from 1.5 to 1.10. So one IP is assigned for my computer now. I'll close this. I'll open this computer and I'll go to desktop and I'll go to IP configuration. I'll click on DHCP. See, it is requesting an IP address and I've got an IP address. So automatically I've received an IP from DHCP. All right. So you have IPs for these two computers. Now the entire connection is established. Now what you have to do is open any computer. Open any computer and go to command prompt. So now from this computer, we are going to try pinging this server, your DNS server 20.20.20.2, and you have to get a reply. If you get a reply, the entire configuration that you have done is correct. So let's ping 20.20.20.2 and hit enter. So it is going to take time because we've just established it. Request timed out. Okay. Request timed out. Okay. And I'm getting a reply. So I'll try pinging it again and I'm going to get a reply. Yes, so the entire configuration that we've done is correct. So this is how you have to configure the firewall. So all these steps, this diagram, this IP is must. All right. So this is with firewall, and you have to follow it very properly. Okay. You have to go step by step. You have to go in each and every order, and then you have to configure it. Okay. So in case if you have any doubts, you can post, but make sure you do all the steps which is provided in the notes, and then in case if you get error, you let us know, because even if you miss one single step, it is not going to show you the output. So make sure you are following each and every step. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hand over the session to Shankar sir. He'll just speak to you for like 5 minutes, and then I will post you the attendance link. So far I have not posted the attendance link. Please wait. Once sir is done with his talk, I will post you the attendance link in your chat box. So I'll come back again. Okay.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Hope my voice is audible. Great. So I hope you have discussed something about firewalls. Um, I'll just give a brief of what you have seen here. We have a switch, we have a computer, that's perfectly fine. We have computers here and you have a switch which is connected. Previously, you connected a router here. Yes. Let me close this. Give me 1 minute. Close. Let's say, yes. Okay. So yes, it's good now. We had a switch, we had two computers, and previously we had a router here. But now, instead of router, we have a firewall. This firewall here is again going to do the function of routing. It is going to have few modules of DHCP. It is going to have few modules of switch. It's a complex device which is going to perform a lot of interesting things. And what is good with firewall? Firewall will accept, will obey what you configure. Fine. If you say firewall permit TCP traffic or permit ICMP, means you're allowing it to ping, it will only obey this. Fine. That's the best thing about firewall. What's the worst thing about firewall? In case if you say permit ICMP, it will say yes, I'll permit ICMP, but it will not permit TCP. Fine. Whatever you wanted to do with a firewall, you have to explicitly mention it here. Unless and until you mention it here, it is not going to obey or it is not going to perform. So it's quite complex to configure a firewall like this, but for freshers who wanted to come into this field, or anyone who wants to move into a security field, firewall is base. Right? Infrastructure security or server management, anything, you will have to come across a firewall. So as Soumita said, you have to be comfortable with the 9 rules what she has shared. And uh, after configuring, like we had another router here, this belongs to your ISP, and DNS, we had seen what is DNS. Yes. And this DNS server belongs to your ISP. So what is the function of DNS? You try to ping google.com. You try to ping google.com from your computer. This request directly goes to your firewall. From your firewall to your ISP router. From your ISP, it goes to the DNS. And from here, it grabs the IP address of google.com and gives back the reply. So what we have done here practically is we are checking if you are able to send a packet through the firewall and whether we are getting a reply for the firewall. In case if you are able to achieve this, yes, you have. This is the most simplest configuration of a firewall. Complex configurations can go to any level, but this is the most simplest form of configuration. Fine. And in tomorrow's session, I'll be handling probably the security part of Splunk, honeypots, and Kali Linux. Fine. So I'll be handling all these 3 topics about security aspects of all these things for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. I hope these topics will be very new to you guys, except for Kali Linux. You should have heard Kali Linux you should have seen this in a lot of YouTube tutorials, but we'll see what tools of Kali Linux can be used for network security, right? What can be used for network security. We'll also configure Splunk. and we'll configure few honeypots, and we'll see how it goes. Fine. Hope you find this find this synchronizing with what we have learned from the day one. And even if you have missed one day, probably you might not be able to configure firewall. So I request every one of you to go through all the videos from day one. After that, go for firewall. You'll find it very useful. Fine. And we'll meet tomorrow then. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right. So I will share you the attendance link now. Okay. I'm sharing it to your Zoom chat. So what you can do is you can post your attendance and you can leave. If you're done with your attendance, you can actually leave from the meeting. Yes. So thank you.